Hi guys, so this is a video going over how to draft body paragraphs in your career research paper. I might also use it for the argument paper because they're pretty much the same thing. So basically, a body paragraph is going to be divided into these four different parts here. Two of these parts you should have done already when you were making your outline. If you haven't done that already, go back and do that now. And then come back to this video afterwards. So a body paragraph, like I said, has these four parts. First, you have a topic sentence. You should have written a topic sentence already for each of these parts, but your topic sentence is basically your thesis statement for your body paragraph. It's explaining everything that body paragraph is going to be about, and everything in that body paragraph needs to relate somehow to this topic sentence. So for our sample here, we're using our sample for this research paper, which was about social workers suffering with secondary traumatic stress. For this body paragraph, our author writes, when a social worker is suffering from STS, they may experience debilitating PTSD-like symptoms. So she's going to talk about the PTSD-like symptoms that they experience, and that's all that this paragraph is going to cover. Second part here is elaboration. This will be a couple of sentences where you expand on your topic sentence and go into more detail about it. It can be a couple of sentences, it can be 3 or 4 like this one, it can be quite a lot sometimes, but you need to unpack your topic sentence and explain it better than you could in just the one sentence, right? So again, PTSD-like symptoms in social workers. She goes on to say, social workers genuinely desire to see their clients succeed, so when one struggles to make progress, their social worker will often feel emotional distress. This emotional distress may cause debilitating symptoms. So she's unpacked part of that topic sentence. She'll go into more detail for it later. That's the other green parts here. But now she's going to go into evidence. Evidence is some information that you got from your source, from one of your sources. So this could be a quote, it could be a piece of paraphrased information where you've taken a large piece of information and cut it down shorter in your own words. It could also be a summary. If occasionally, if you want to take an entire document and talk about that, you'd want to cut it down to, you'd want to explain that document in 2 or 3 sentences and give us the gist of it, right? So you always want to make sure that you're giving credit to your sources, and so you will either need to talk about in your text where this information came from and who wrote it, or you need to include a in-text citation at the very end, like this one here. An in-text citation will have the author's last name, and if there's page numbers, it'll have page numbers. If there's no author, then you would just put a short version of the title in quotes in parentheses, just like it appears here. So for this first piece of evidence that she has, she's quoting somebody who is being quoted in this article, Carl LaRoe. So she says, Carl LaRoe, a licensed social worker, states, the signs and symptoms at first tend to be psychological and emotional, but they may soon become behavioral, physical, and spiritual. And so here she gives credit to the author of that article. She should actually have single quote and then double quotes around this, since it's a quote from a quote. Next she has some more elaboration. This is again elaborating on her topic sentence. The number 1 symptom of STS and the most common ailment among caregivers is depression. However, symptoms of STS can range from dizziness, muscle aches, memory problems, substance abuse, insomnia, and many more. And then she has another piece of evidence. You only need 1 piece of evidence per body paragraph, but the more you have, the fewer paragraphs you have to write. A 1995 study reveals that the symptoms of STS are almost identical to those of PTSD. Those diagnosed may experience intrusive images, depersonalization, derealization, some big words here, dissociative amnesia, or faulty social or personal functioning. All right. And then again, she's giving credit to her author here. This is a paraphrase here. This isn't a quote. She's just taking information from that source and boiling it down to something simple in her own words. And then here she has the last name of the author and the page number. Finally, you need explanation and wrap up at the end. This is where you sort of just make a conclusion for your paragraph. You're unpacking your evidence a little bit, and then you are putting in a sentence or two to wrap up what you're saying. So these symptoms can be detrimental by causing deeply negative changes within someone's personal and professional life. So that's wrapping up the different symptoms she's talked about in her evidence. And then here she closes out her paragraph. By practicing self-care strategies, social work practitioners can address their compassion fatigue and hopefully reduce or eliminate it. Okay, so that is all the parts that you need to have in one of these paragraphs. Make sure you have all of these different parts in each of the body paragraphs that you turn in, that you put in your paper. You need to have at least 2 of these paragraphs for the paper, but for this assignment, you only really need 1. Okay guys, good luck, and see you all in the next assignment.